Hi everyone, and welcome to the Geneva Digital Market. We are very proud today to present you this session in collaboration with the ArtTech Foundation. ArtTech is a new partner of the Geneva Digital Market, and during this session we are going to talk about the role of the foundation in promoting technological innovation in the arts, and also we are going to present 5 promising technologies for the future of the audiovisual and film industry. So now I'm happy to give the floor to Nathalie Pichard, Executive Director and Curator at the ArtTech Foundation, who will give an introduction and a review of 5 years of the foundation, and then introduce the 5 selected companies. Thank you, Nathalie.
Thank you, Paula, for your introduction. So I'm very happy to bring to life today for the second time this year the partnership with the GIF. The first part of this collaboration was the participation of the GIF in the ArtTech Forum 2021 last September with the organization of a session whose title was How Online is Shaping the Next Generation of Artistic Creation, Content and Communities. So hot topics indeed, and the session can be re-seen on YouTube. So I recommend you to go to YouTube, to the ArtTech YouTube, and to listen the 3 moderators organized by the GIF. So to come back today, I'm very honored to be part of the digital market and to be able to make more visible the ArtTech initiative, and mostly to make more visible the network. So the most importance of this next 1 hour and a half is not the presentation of the ArtTech initiative, but to have the opportunity to present some of the startups the foundation has been interacting with for 5 years. So we choose 5 startups working in the field of the audiovisual sector, but in different fields. Their founders and CEOs will be online with us and will present their company. But before letting the floor to Philippe, Edgar, David, Alexandre, Yassine, and Sami, I'm so sorry, today will not be inclusive, but yes, it exists fantastic and very successful women working in the tech and creative industries. So let's see what are the mission and the objective of the ArtTech Foundation. We launched the, I don't know if it works or not. Yeah, I'm sorry, I don't see what's happening here. Yeah, okay. So we launched the initiative in 2017, so in the Lake Geneva regions, but with the ambition to be international. This is very important for us. What we are talking about, so to be short, we are talking about culture, technology, entrepreneurship, all together, because we observe that usually these 3 worlds are hardly mixed, and if 5 years later the situation is a bit different, this issue is still to be questioned today. So the key objectives are to promote research, innovation, entrepreneurship, so meaning startups, the arts, and to create also an international mixed community from different backgrounds, and to create also a space for reflection for supportive, innovative projects. So to summarize in a phrase, we'd like to promote the cultural and creative industries, and whose scope, as you already know as professional evolving in these fields, is wide, much wider than the name we gave to our foundation, ArtTech, can let's believe. And between you and me, if I could, I'd change the name of the foundations to make better understand our initiative. So what we do to achieve these goals? On the slide, so you see 6 axes on which we've been working on these past years. Some of them, we must say, are more developed than others, but the objective of creating a community, a useful network for everyone, especially for young companies, has been achieved. We are naturally looking for ways to do a better job of making resources for the startups and the cultural institutions, so we'd like to have more things available. financial resource, and for this reason we still continue to work on a VC fund, which will be legally outside the foundation, but working very close to the foundation. But we also know that sometimes the connections with partners, the access to the market, a certain visibility are also valuable for the member of our network, and we'll see later that it's the case. The annual and international forum is key for the development of the community, and was the first activity we launched in 2017. So we developed each year partnerships with universities, research institutions, and festivals or other important institutions in the world to anchor the conference as much as possible in innovation. So we tackle a wide range of topics, from heritage preservations to music, sounds, but also we talk about the art markets and the development of new technologies for the art market. And we'd like to propose an overview on the trends in terms of technological innovation or a business model. So you can imagine that we talk a lot this past year and this year too about NFTs, blockchain, AI, etc. So the focus is not on art and science and artistic creativity, but we invite each year an artist who presents her or his link to technology. This is, of course, very important for us. The fil rouge, as we say in French, of the program is still the focus we give on the business dimensions. This is probably what makes us different from other conferences or other initiatives that also address, we're not the only one, of course, the issue of culture and technology. The ArtTech Prize is our key vehicle to promote entrepreneurship and to offer a safe place to the young companies to present their ideas and products. So this is a competition of 8 startups invited to pitch in front of people who mainly understand the domain and are interested in, and it means that it's not always the case in such pitch sessions, and many startups enjoy, in fact, pitching in the safe place I was talking about. So we offer 10,000 cash money, and once again we offer our network and the possibility to be actively part of the community, to participate in our events, animations, etc. So 50 startups have already participated in the competition, and unfortunately online only these past 2 years. And some of them say that having participated in the ArtTech Prize had a positive impact on their development, and we love to hear that, of course. Participating in the ArtTech Prize isn't essential to access the ArtTech community. I'd like to say it if some startups are here. And we are happy to discuss with all of them and even also more installed companies interested in joining us. So to summarize what we did these past 5 years, so we built an international community. The community has more than 2,500 people now, investors, researchers, entrepreneurs, of course, startups, and actors from cultural institutions, but because, of course, we are very close to the cultural institutions too. We also see in the last numbers from the last forum that it shows the interest of a place and to discuss about culture, innovation, and entrepreneurship, I guess. So we'll try to continue to animate the community. From January, for instance, we'll organize each month a webinar or a small event on our virtual platform. And I'd like also to say that we also innovate in our organizations, because from this year we partner with a Swiss startup from Ticino, and we are happy to help them to improve their products and to use their virtual products. I must say that donors, sponsors, investors, not only for startups or entrepreneurs, but also for the foundations, are still to be convinced that the sector is valuable and profitable, which seems to be a bit strange, I must say, because when you see the numbers, when you see how important is this sector as strategic for Europe, for instance, if we stay in Europe, so we know that more than 1 million of companies in Europe are working in the cultural and creative industries. We know also that we have 500 million of customers or potential customers, and that's the industries means also more than 150 billions of euros. So this is not something small. This is something very important. And we know also that millions of users and content creators wait for the next Spotify, Unity, or Supercell. And you see on the slide the valuation of these companies, which were small before and very big now. As we know that among the startups you see on the slide, most of these startups indicating easy offer new technologies for the audiovisual sector, and some of them will grow, will scale up and exit. And this is all we wish for the 5 startups that will now take the floor. I'm very, very happy to meet again each of you, dear startup. You all have a story with the ArtTech initiative, and I'd like to present you very shortly before giving you the floor. So we'll have the pleasure to hear Philippe Guillot from Matchdoon. He provides music match for videos. And Philippe was at the ArtTech Forum 2018 in Geneva at the HADS. And we are very happy to be able to continue the discussion with Matchdoon. We'll see then Embodme and Edgar. Edgar participated in the ArtTech Prize last year. He was unfortunately online, but we were at the ETH Zurich. And Embodme bridges the gap between electronic music and human expressivity. David Alexandre will then explain about his studio. He created with a team of engineers, visual artists, and creative developers. He will show us how scientific and artistic research can create experiences. And David Alexandre was one of the first startups invited to pitch at the ArtTech Prize, the first year of existence of the prize, so in 2017. The petit nouveau, as we say in French, is kinetics, because as Yassine participating in this ArtTech Prize, we were in Istanbul, and unfortunately Yassine was in online, and he will explain his platform that enables creators to turn any videos into a 3D animation using deep learning. And then Sami, we know Sami for years also. Sami comes from Lausanne or from Switzerland. He was at the ArtTech Prize in Venice at the Fondation ArtTech in 2018, and he will show us how data-driven intelligence can help movie industry. So dear startups, the floor is yours, and I'd like to give you Philippe the floor now.
So thank you for having us again this year, and so I'm very pleased to join this session. I'm currently in Los Angeles, and so I'm not going to go into any kind of live demos, etc., because I think we want really to allow people to do these demos by themselves, so they will be available afterwards. Now, quickly about Matchdoon. I created this company 4 years ago with a famous French composer. His name is André Manoukian. And the reason why actually we created this company, which is a mix between music, science, and technology, is that right now there are on the planet about 150 million music available, and only 0.1% of that enormous volume generates revenue for their for the artist. So we really tried to understand why that was happening, and we looked into this problem, and the problem was actually quite simple. Is that in the traditional world, there used to be television and radio, and these were the markets where all the music was consumed. And the artists were selling their CDs, and they were getting their revenue from from the sorry, I missed the word, from the revenue from every time the people were using this music on TV and radio. The problem is that this market is shrinking, and on the other side, you have this huge exponential market, which is the social media market and the digital market, where you have an enormous number of videos and creators, etc. And all these people, they need music. And what happened, when this new market came in, is that all the major companies, they saw this new opportunity as a threat, and they tried to protect, their music and their content by putting all kind of controlling things, so that you could not use any of their music on YouTube, on Instagram or Facebook, etc., etc. But this was until 2 years ago, and they did realize that they had to go with the flow, and this could be a tremendous new business revenue opportunity for them and for the artist. So we looked into that, and we did realize that in order for all this music to really find their market, we needed to add some technology. And basically, we needed to add technology into three very specific fields. The first one is that content creators, they are not musicians, they are not music specialists, and so every time they were looking for music, they didn't know what was the best music, if the music was going to fit with their content, etc., etc. So Matchdoon developed some technology where, and after analyzing, for instance, a video, we would determine that among millions of music tracks, these would be the 15 best music to fit that video. And based, on trends, based on the type of video, etc., etc. So that was really the first thing, how to get in a few seconds the best 10 or 15 tracks that are available for this video. The second challenge was that, most of the time, when you buy a track or when you listen to a track, it's going to be like a 3 minutes long track, like an original version, 3 minutes long. But your video might be 25 seconds, or it could be 35 seconds. So how do you adapt the 3 minutes long music to your 25 seconds video? And this is not simple. You have to re-edit the music. You are not content creators. They are not music professionals, so it's a cost, it takes time, etc. So we did develop a second technology where we can re-edit instantly an original track to any kind of duration, but it's not only like cutting in the middle of the music. I mean, it's re-editing, taking the the intro, the end, the verses, the chorus, etc., etc., and making like an original version for that specific video. And finally, which for me is the most important, is that eyes and ears, they work together. So when you are looking at a video and there are events happening into the video, it needs to happens also into the sound. So when you have a change of scene, when you have things happening, so that synchronization between video and music is very important. And so we developed that technology too, where the music, we can adapt the music to the events into the video. And all this happens in less than 10 seconds. And if you don't like the music, you can just ask for the next one, and it's already there. So by doing so, we got the attention from all the music publishers on the planet, and today we are providing this technology to these companies, either under our own name or through a technology license, and they can embed our technology into their own system. But we are trying to facilitate how music is consumed, and also this is kind of randomizing the overall music global catalog, so that increase the chances for artists to see their revenue go up.
Okay, so thank you very much, Philippe. Maybe just a question. What are the challenges you face currently? Is it technological, financial, access to a market? You mentioned before the fact that the content creator are maybe on the social media a bit anxious about what you're proposing, but what are the challenges you're facing now?
There are two kinds of challenges. There is the political challenges, and there are also the technology the technology challenges. But the political challenges are that there is I'm not coming from the music industry, so I did discover that this is a world where you have a lot of kind of ego, and you have a lot of companies, they are looking at each other not in a very cooperative way. And if you look at all the 3 or the 4 major music companies on the planet, they are basically, they have the same music offering, and they don't like to, when they have, let's say, a supplier, they don't like the other one to have the same supplier, etc. So they had to, and we had to help them overcome this. For the benefit of the artist, because at the end of the day, if music doesn't go out, artists don't get anything. And that was a little bit of a challenge, I have to say. And the second thing is that, we did introduce artificial intelligence into all this process. And, artificial intelligence, there is the good and the bad artificial intelligence. All along, we try to use AI only when it doesn't replace human. We don't want to create, a robot that is going to make a pizza, in the place of the pizzaiolo, for instance. So we really try to stay focused on using AI to augment the possibilities of the human being, and especially the artist and the music industry, not to replace it. So we decided not to go, for instance, into creating music with AI, which for me is a kind of a nonsense, because today there is already enough music on the planet that is not being valued. So why should we create more? So this is where Matchdoon really put their focus.
Thank you very much, Philippe. Very interesting. So we'd like to hear you, Edgar. We'll see you in, hello, Edgar. Nice to see you.
Hello, Nathalie. Thanks so much for having me again.
So the floor is yours. You can speak now.
So embodiment comes from the term embodiment. Our idea of tomorrow's interaction with computer is human-centered. And for this reason, we develop at Embodiment a one-of-a-kind sensor that merges touch detection and near-field gesture capture. So we inherit from 9 years of research and development in the field of robotics and human-computer interaction. Our mission is to enrich interaction with machines through gestures. This year, earlier, we've released our first product. It's called Après Touch, as you can see it here. It's a music product. It is a highly customizable MIDI controller. It's pressure sensitive, sensing touch with 1,000 force sensors, and you can display whatever you want with 1,000 LEDs. To display keyboards, drum pads, sliders, sequencers. You can also play with drumsticks. In other terms, it does everything you might want to do as a music producer with one product. And although 2021 was not the best year to release a product involving electronics, we've managed to ship 300 units after a Kickstarter, and now we're getting prepared to grow commercially in 2022. Let me show you how it works, what it looks like. I have a little video here. Maybe you can, Natalie, play it. I don't know. Perfect. So yeah, we did this Kickstarter a year ago, and we started shipping our product last September. So yeah, now about 300 people are starting to use it. The product is, getting real. It's a really interesting phase for us. So next, I want to change the topic. I will introduce you to our new technology that we're developing. It's a very short video, but what it shows is what we call near field interaction. So the product I've just introduced you before doesn't do capture mid-air gestures. What we're working on now is the next product. It enables near field interaction. Basically, it captures your finger gestures a few millimeters up to 15 centimeters above a touchscreen, like a smartphone. With this technology, mid-air gesture tracking can finally be robust, fast, and precise. And because the action is so close to the touchscreen, it is easy to repeat the same gesture twice, which wasn't the case before. I don't know if you've tried the Microsoft Kinect, the Leap Motion, or similar products. Because every mid-air comment starts and finishes with a touch contact, it solves also fatigue issues, as well as validating actions with sufficient feedback. The list of application markets we can tackle with this tech is endless. The backbone of virtual, augmented, and mixed reality is the interaction of virtual objects, right? And it is more likely that apps built upon mixed reality will come along with mobile devices such as smartphones or tablets, rather than cumbersome gloves or wearables, right? Then we might have a solution for it. This technology is so powerful, it would open up possibilities unheard of for applications involving 3D objects manipulation. Not to mention, it also enables contactless interaction for cleaner interfaces in public use. To finish this presentation, I'd like to present our team. We are engineers, designers, musicians. We hope to hire more engineers in 2022 to help us develop this radical technology. We've actually started doing this for music creation, for audiovisual creation, and now we're anticipating the thousands of actions we do daily with our mobile devices. So it is now time for a new revolutionary that opens up the first dimension, and we wish to provide it. We are looking at the moment to raise seed round to conquer new markets related to human-computer interaction. And we are also looking for software integration partnerships with creative industries such as music, design, architecture, gaming, to help develop use cases based on this technology and imagine tomorrow's interaction. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Edgar. It's very impressive. Maybe just a question for you too. Where, or in 5 years, where will your company be, or where would you like it to be? Sold, having developed more technical innovation, of course, more customers, but where would you like to be?
It's a good question. It's a difficult question too, because we've started off this music, musical instrument company, and all the backbone of this technology embedded in the instrument has so many other market verticals that we realize now that we have this like smartphone / tablets market industry that we could tackle with new technology. And of course we want to embed it in like everyone's pockets. That's the goal. But when it comes to integrating a technology within like the next iPhone or next Samsung Galaxy product, then it's hard to pitch a music product to venture capitalists, because it's not the same markets, it's not the same sizes, not the same issues as well. So at the moment we're trying to like really make our product line and showcase our technology within this music product line, right? So our music product line will be the proof of concept of this technology. And by like 5 years, maybe like by 2025, even before, we hope maybe to start licensing this technology to big companies such as Apple or Samsung, who are making the full stack smartphone and tablet ecosystem, while continuing doing our music products. That would be like the dream. Yeah.
Yes, let's dream. So thank you very much, Edgar. And now we'd like to welcome David Alexandre from Theory Studio. Hello, David Alexandre.
Hi, so I have also like a bit of a presentation. Yeah, thank you. So my job is being like an artist, engineer, and entrepreneur, and I'm the co-founder of Theory Studio, which is a creative studio using art and technology. What we do basically is we design experiences who are like poetic, aesthetic, and make people like live something new with a big focus on immersion and interactivity. So what we do is like those experiences that can be sometimes like shows, sometimes like installations, or sometimes like big spaces and new spaces. We do work with like opera, theater, cinema, audiovisual, museums. We do work with cities, brands, and we do this like everywhere on Earth. I mean, mainly Europe, Middle East, and North America. And those last years, we mainly did a lot of immersive space that can be used in a lot of ways. So when I say immersive space, I mean places where you project videos everywhere, on the floor, on the walls, and everywhere. And then you can do like either gaming, entertainment, culture, teaching, meetings, relaxing, like a lot of kind of content can be done. And also nowadays we do like a virtual production, which means like shooting actors in those kind of immersive spaces, which are something like very trendy in cinema right now. And then we also have internally one research science lab, and in here we can like explore technologies and sometimes create new ones, and a bit like feeling what's going to be interesting in the future, or even sometimes creates the future. So right now I want to talk about like one specific project, which is a technology called Augmenter. It's something we worked during like 6 years, and we are starting to sell it to selective customers from 1 year and talking about it more and more. And we started from one simple need is like nowadays in 2021, everything we do is interactive, right? Like the smartphones, the tablets, everything. We're getting used to have interactive content. And in the field of immersive spaces or theater or cinema and everything, content are not so much interactive right now, except like video gaming, which is. And so we created this technology, and the idea is to say like, okay, in a real space, I want to add interactivity very easily. So for example, like in this photo, like this person in the center is detected, and then we can like have like a video interacting with this person. And the idea is like this technology is a wide array of sensors that you can put in the ceiling, and then the space can become conscious of the people inside. The space can become interactive. The surface can also become interactive. So the walls could become like as touch surface. The tables as well, they could become touch surface. And the idea is to having something that bridges as interactivity. So I have like a small video that I can show you that explains and show a bit of examples of that. If you can play it right now, it would be perfect. So as you could see, the idea is this: is like you have a space, you have a project, and you want it to become interactive. I don't know if I still have my slides. And then this technology we mainly used like for immersive spaces those last years. So sometimes the space can be huge. It can be like 2,000 square meters. It can be small. It can be a showroom. But the idea is this: we can like detect and track objects or people, and then we can create content with the tool we are used to use. So some people use like video game engines, some other people use audiovisual tools. So the idea is to bridge the simple fact like now people can do interactive content and spaces, and before it was something like very difficult to do on a real life space. So that's it. And to do a little bridge with cinema, we also did use like this technology in some movies. So this is like the photo we can see here is an extract of one of the first mixed reality movies we did like some years ago, before it was a huge trend. And on virtual sets, you can also use like this. It means like on a stage, you can have like somebody coming on stage and everything react to him. And on a virtual production set, you can also use this to get like the different worlds and surroundings become reactive with the talents and actors, which is also actually like something not so much done in virtual production. Virtual production is mostly like something like the whole surrounding is like something fixed but doesn't move so much. And now with technology, you can add the same thing like interactivity. You can add things reacting to people with the movement in space. Thank you very much for listening to me.
Thank you very much, David Alexandre. It's great, and I see how your studio evolved and enlarged its services. So it's really great. A question for you: you mentioned, and in the list of your services, you have entertainment, you have culture, museum, etc. And do you make a difference between culture and entertainment? This is a bit provocative, but we see that with digital, so the border is not so so straight now.
Before, like 5 years ago, I think we made more difference, and now we make less and less difference because of the technology, because of the startups, because of the economy, and also we are constantly reinventing things. Like basically, the startups are constantly reinventing new ways of doing things, of consuming things, of experiencing stuff. So I think nowadays the line is thinner and thinner. You see people from culture doing things in business. You see the contrary, and specifically, I personally saw that a lot in museums. So museums now are something which are, I mean, sometimes it's in between like an entertainment park, an experience center, a museum. Some museums don't even want to be called museums anymore. Some entrepreneurs, they do like experience center, which are kind of museums, but like not really museums because they actually like manage the content differently. So yeah, I would say like it's more and more something which is hard to define those days.
Thank you very much, David Alexandre. So Yacine, you have now the floor with Kinetics.
So I'm Yacine, the co-founder of Kinetics. I will introduce you to what we're doing, but also our story with my co-founder, because it's a project that was born within a program called Entrepreneur First that merge R&D profiles with more business profiles. So this is where I met Henry, my co-founder, who was doing research in R&D in artificial intelligence applied to 3D. And as we're both passionate about gaming and audiovisual industries, we decided to launch our project in this field. So analyzing and it was during the COVID where there were interesting trends to analyze, and we saw three main trends that I would like to share with you. The first one is that the 3D is exploding, and looking at the research, there will be 100 times more visual content, including 3D, in the next 5 years. If we look at the past few years, it's happened the same with videos. So I think there's 15 times more video content on the internet, and the same will happen with 3D content. So this is the first trend, and it's driven by multiple industries. We saw that with an increase of 30% in the gaming industry usage during the COVID period, but it's also driven by the cinema, the AR, the VR, and also by the social media industries. As we saw with the Facebook becoming Meta, all the big GAFA platforms will also become place for creators. And this is the second trend, is that we saw more and more gamers becoming game creators in platforms such as Roblox, for instance. Roblox, it's a game that has now more than 200 million users and 8 million creators. So currently there are more creators in Roblox than Unity. And all these creators are very young people creating their own games, and they produce more than 40 million games in the past few years, just in Roblox. The third trend is a more technological one. Computer vision have been doing amazing breakthrough, and we have more and more high quality of recognizing human body tracking, but also being able to use AI to generate and create. And this is merging these three trends. This is how Kinetic was born. And our ambition is to create a platform to democratize the 3D animation and make it accessible to all the creators. Because we believe that if we decrease the technicity needed to create, everyone can become a creator. It can be applied for moving avatars for game creation, but also in the cinema, in the media industry. So there are multiple use cases that we have been exploring this year. But let me explain you a bit more how 3D is done today, because we're simplifying something that was very complex. So if we look at how 3D is made today, there are three main ways of producing 3D. The first one is the traditional one. It's using editing software like Maya or Blender. So basically you take a static avatar or a model, and you will move every joint image by image, frame by frame. So to produce only 1 minute of video sometimes takes more than 6 weeks of manual work for 3D animators. So you need to have several years of experience as a 3D animator to be able to manipulate this kind of editing tools. So it's very complex and only accessible for less than 1 million of animators, 3D animators. The second one is motion capture. I'm sure you all heard of that when you see with the green screen, all the sensors and all the hardware, which enables to extract the motion out of our body movements. But this motion capture is very costly, sometimes more than 10,000 euros for only 1 day of motion capture. And most of the small creators and also the studios don't have access to motion capture. Plus, the output of motion capture are still very technical. The last one is libraries of animation that are very static and standard, but this is not customizable by most of the people, so they cannot really use them, and libraries are also very limited. So at Kinetics, we're creating a platform that starts with an AI that enables you to transform a video into 3D animation, and then we offer easy editing tools so that anyone with the very limited skills in technical animation, can manipulate 3D and produce animated avatars. I think the video speaks for itself. So maybe we can see first the demo of the technology, and then also the demo of the platform, so you can see how the workflow work. So there is a second video that shows the workflow on the platform, so you can see how easy it's to generate the motion and to put it on an avatar. It's the video of our product. So basically, you can go online on kinetics.tech, and you can log in and create. We have all the creators have 1 minute of free animation, so you can do it yourself. But maybe we can see also a demo in the second video.
Yassine, it's very impressive. A question for you too. So you're a startup, so you're probably used to speaking to investors or trying to find finance. What's your business model, in fact?
We did the first fundraising, and we will do a second one in the next few months. So our business model for now, that we automated the product. So we just offered, like as I said, minutes of animation that are free, and then you can pay depending on the number of the minute of animation you want to produce. So this is the model that we implemented, discussing with the studios. But in the long term, we're thinking of other models, looking at the economy also that's happening in game, especially in the gaming field. We're talking more and more about NFTs and also blockchain. So we're also thinking of new models of monetization. So thinking of that when you export a model, you don't have to pay for it, because the community sometimes is not used to pay for this kind of services, especially the creators that are not professionals, and then integrate within the gaming platform so that we can monetize in the resale and transaction that happen then afterwards. And blockchain enable that, and this is one of the models that we'll be exploring in the next few months.
Let's go and welcome to Sami. Sami from Largo. You were our last startups. Hello, Sami.
So thank you very much, Natalie. It's great to be again in an ArtTech curation. I will have a presentation. If I see my presentation, I can start to my pitch right away. Great. So as Largo, we provide next generation storytelling tools for the movie industry. And we have a platform that is called Largo AI that provides the service at different stages of the development of a film. Development of a film takes many steps, from pre-production to post-production and distribution. And during this process, there are many important decisions that are taken by producer, distributor, and directors. And main mechanism to make these decisions in the industry is still gut feeling. But today, Netflix and Amazon, they are using data-driven intelligence to make many of these decisions, and they disrupt the industry this way. And their technology and data is not available to the rest of the industry. So this is the point where we come as a solution to the industry. We provide the technology and data for movie producers, distributors, directors, and screenwriters. The platform, it is a SaaS platform, and you can get instant results from screenplays or the video versions of a film. And the system provides market insights, financial forecasts, audience forecasts, casting propositions. I will give specific examples on that. So for content insights, we have this specific technology that we have developed to which creates like a cinematographic DNA of a content. So basically, we put a screenplay of the or video version of the system into the system, and with our machine learning model, we can automatically predict, for example, its suitability for different age groups are evolving. Again, it finds its relevance to different content elements. So this creates a cinematographic DNA of the content, which is useful for the filmmakers to understand the dynamics of their content. But again, also we use these cinematographic DNAs to make many other predictions. One of them is the character relationships that you see over here. The system is automatically finding which characters are having higher importance, and then what are their relationships. The dynamics between the characters, you can visualize this in a single graph. So here you see an example from the movie Finnegan Ensemble. I cannot see slide very well on my side, but I think here we have the slide with François Cluze, and then the next one should be with Marion Cotillard. So in both cases, for example, AI is seeing the original cast is already very good match with the character, but it also makes its own propositions. So think the usage of this at the pre-production stage. So you just put your screenplay onto the system, it already brings some potential cast that will fit well and that will bring potential success for the film on your table. Then, of course, the creatives just look at this potential cast very important aspect. For the casting, one aspect that is important, it is ethnicity blind, that we did it this way on purpose. Actually, we also discussed yesterday on this topic in the festival. Industry is in general in the favor of making AI ethnicity blind. I emphasize this point because AI is also coming as a tool to solve the potential problems in the industry, because we can easily hide, for example, ethnicity information from AI, and this way it can make still casting propositions, but without putting the ethnicity at the first place. And then here again, over that topic, these three movies that have used our system recently, our system made over 7,000 different actor propositions, and half of them were unique actors. That means one actor has been proposed in average 2.2 times. This shows AI is not also focusing on certain clusters, and it searches like different connections. Sometimes maybe an actor hidden in the corner can come onto the table of a producer. This way, we create opportunity in a more democratic way. That is another benefit of AI that we see that can bring to the film industry from the casting side. Then system is making financial forecasts. It tells, for example, how much a movie can make in the box office as early as a screenplay script stage with very high confidence. And similarly, it can predict number of people that can watch the film on streaming platforms, again, to have an idea the size of audience that you can reach with the film. It is very important while raising the fund for a film, making the right investment and greenlighting the right project for the producers. So just before ending, we have launched our platform 1.5 years ago. And today already hundreds of movies are using our platform. Pandemic has delayed the release of some of these films, but still today we have from which are on Netflix in box office, and we have also a few Oscar nominees that have used the platform. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Sami. I know that you are very successful startups, and good luck. I just have a question. In fact, can you predict also for you what will be the areas of innovation with Largo? What's the future of your product?
Yeah, I mean, in film industry, we are trying to make this as accessible as possible, not only to big players, movie studios, but also independent producers. And independent production is a very huge field. There's hundreds of thousands of independent producers. So that is one of our goal to make this more accessible, also country-wise, because we need to also look. At the moment we are working with European and North American region, but also there is also Latin America and Asian markets that we want to expand platform, and then we also expand in advertisement sector. For advertisement production of an advertisement movie, it has also similar process. We can still take a good benefit of AI during story development and project development.
Okay, so thank you very much. Good luck.
Thank you very much.
If we still have some time, I'd like to see the 5 startups, if it's possible. And just to ask a last question. Yes, just to close this session, I have a question to all of you, in fact. So you are all European startups. Do you think that there is a European touch in the audiovisual sector you are working on? Do you bring something different from your US or Asian competitors, or you are not in these dimensions, you are global? Maybe we'll start with with Yassine.
Yes, I mean, for us, I think the difference between the US, we have a US competitors. In terms of R&D, we are lucky to be in Europe in a certain way because we have access to a great pool of talent. And also in France here, the BPI is doing an amazing job as well to support the R&D part. But on the go-to-market and the market side of the things, it's more difficult because we have seen difficulties as one of the other startups mentioned with the venture capitalists that are not used to invest in synthetic media in this kind of field, and most of the investors are in the US. So for early startups, it's sometimes in this field it's sometimes difficult to raise money for more the market side. But for the R&D, I think we have a great advantage here in Europe.
Okay, so thank you. And for you, David Alexandre, what do you see?
There's so many ways of answering this question. I'd say like when it's content, still like in Europe and France, we really have like I think like really like a strong advantage in terms of content, like artistic direction and everything. We have like really like a nice pool of content creators like from any field. When it comes from like more tech, I would say like designing a product and being a startup.
Okay, so thank you, David Alexandre. So we'll continue the discussion later. And for you, Philippe, so you are in LA, so it means that for you the US market is, of course, something interesting. Or do you bring something different from your competitors, if you have one?
Okay, so I'm going to be totally in agreement with what was said previously. Right now is really the place to develop technology around AI because I've been in the US for 15 years. My previous company was in the US. This one is a US company, but basically all the technology is developed in France. And when it comes to having good engineers in AI, etc., honestly, France right now is the place to be. And on top of that, you get money from the government, mainly from BPI, who really push for this kind of initiative. So right now, for the music and the technology, we need to be in Europe. Now, when it comes to finding the market, you need to be in the US because there are two main reasons. Number one, the time it takes in the US to make decisions, business decisions, is way faster than in Europe. You can get a meeting with a deal, whereas in Europe it's going to take months. And the second thing is that the market size. In the music, all the major are located in the US, and they have subsidiaries all around the world. But if you don't make the deals with the head office in the US, it's going to be hard to get something global. So I'm going to say, exactly the same thing. Technology-wise, be in Europe. Business-wise, be in the US.
Thank you, Philippe. It's very clear. Is it an advice? What do you think about this European touch, French touch, and etc.? Do you want to expand to the US or to Asia?
Yes, of course. Well, it's funny, but our Kickstarter last year, we had more than 70% of our customers were in the US. So like the first thing we did was to open a US subsidiary. And in 2022, we indeed plan on accelerating the commercial development in the US. And also we'll be looking for a seed round in the US because, as Philippe said, if you want great engineers for like a really competitive price, stay in France, that's for sure. But in terms of like getting the venture capital, you need to be a major actor within, like whatever technology we are in human-computer interface technology. You have to be, in the Silicon Valley. There is no other like way. Maybe in China, but it's easier for us to be there.
And for you, Sami, I know that you are very near from Hollywood. What's your perspective in the US or in Asia?
For us, yes. I mean, once we started, we first really went to Hollywood to make our initial deals. But later we have realized actually we have even bigger opportunity in Europe, business-wise as well. Because in US, the market is bigger, but also the competition is bigger. In Europe, not many smaller players, but also business-wise, the competition is much less for new innovation. So we used that opportunity. We started from Europe to our strong marketing. We still do our business in US as well, but we gave big priority to Europe at the market entry.
Okay, so thank you. Your answers close this session tonight. So thank you very much for all of you. Thanks to the audience too, and to the GIF for having welcomed the ArtTech Foundations tonight. So I wish you, for you startups, good luck, and I hope that we will meet again very soon for the next events at the ArtTech Foundations. Goodbye.
Thank you so much.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.